In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make this old school Polaroid frame. Perfect for painting the memories of the places you've been with that old school flair. Let's go. To get that vintage Polaroid look, I recommend you use canvas boards because they kind of already look like a Polaroid picture coming out of the camera. We just have to tape it off. But before we do that, we want to prep the canvas board because canvas boards are known to absorb paint just because it's canvas on cardboard and sucks it all in. To do this, we're just going to use basic white gesso and a sponge brush. And we're going to do 3 applications. Going to do 1 application, let it dry, and repeat. Do that 3 times. The reason we're doing that, so it doesn't absorb paint like we said, but for a little secret thing at the bottom here when we get to that. Once everything's all dry, and yes, make sure it's dry for all 3 layers, we can start taping off our canvas board. Now, would you believe when it comes to Polaroid picture frames, there's an exact number, and it's a really unique number, which I'll put up here on screen if you want to mimic the exact measurements of it. But what it boils down to is essentially in the top half of your rectangle shape, you just need to tape off a square shape. Now, if you're anal, you can use rulers, but you can also just wing it and put a square shape in there. I kind of do a half and half method. I don't really mark anything off, but I use the rulers as guidelines so that way I get straight lines or as straight as possible. I start with the bottom because I find that easiest. Since I know my canvas board is a 6x8, I essentially try to make it a 6x6. Now my painter's tape is 1.5 inches, so I have to compensate for the lines that it's gonna mark off. So I'm gonna go a little bit more into my rectangle shape so it compensates for the tape. Using even numbers here or full inches or full centimeters is a lot easier, so do that, but don't be afraid to wing it like I'm doing here on camera. Essentially, just make that square shape at the top and try to make your lines as straight as possible so that way it looks exactly like a Polaroid picture when you're painting on it. Now you're all ready to paint on top of your canvas. I recommend paint a memory of a location that you've been. It's kind of like capturing a moment in time, which is what Polaroid cameras were all about back in the day. Once your painting's all complete, remove the painter's tape and you've got a perfectly framed landscape or picture that has that Polaroid old school flair that's gonna look fantastic. Now, since we gessoed our entire canvas, when you remove the painter's tape here at the bottom, it's gonna be extra smooth. Now, I grew up at the tail end of Polaroid cameras, but I remember them vividly. And I remember all of my friends that were girls used to take photos and then sign the bottom with some kind of message or timestamp or whatever it was. It was kind of an extra little cool thing you can do. Since this is gessoed and smooth, you can sign it as well. Put a little note to your loved one or timestamp it so that way you know exactly what it was. It gives this a little bit of extra flair and really gives it that Polaroid stamp of approval. If you need any more awesome tips from me or maybe tutorials, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button, leave me a comment, and you can check out more of my videos over to the side. I'll catch you all later. Take care, and of course, peace.